Venn diagram of all three. And one thing that we're really trying to do, like everybody knows, a lot of collaboration, a lot of people. Now we do have companies here that are cell phone. And everyone here in the community is members of something. And so, you know, we come here, build it, break it, learn it, and learn it. This place here is kind of a meeting space for half lounge. So I'm going to bring you over to the other room here. Follow me.
And you can tell her what to write, and that would be good. Just take this.
So, one thing we're excited about is that, now has anyone been to our Oakland location? Okay, so as you probably can imagine, when you're building and when you're prototyping, we have kind of a messy, chic aesthetic in Oakland, and the event space is kind of in the open in Oakland, and kind of we converted like an office space into, you know, a prototyping lab and a kind of a whole. That's how we've done Circuit Launch. Now this space is a lot more conducive to what we need, you know, with the concrete floors, the high ceilings, and so this area here we're going to convert into the event space area, and so here we'll have the speakers here, and you know. If you don't know, we do a lot of innovation tours in our Oakland location. You know, there's a lot of, you know, we don't really have an advertising department, so that's how we get our word of mouth out. But also the big idea is a lot of the bigger players like Google and Apple, and sometimes the engineers are so focused and so siloed for each project, sometimes they don't even know what they're working on. Whereas a place like Circuit Launch, people are knee deep in their prototypes. And so we often do innovation tours where we bring executive MBAs, prospective engineers, students, people looking to upskill or reskill. And so we do a lot of events where we bring in companies that talk about their demos, or this will also be available for companies if they want to host their own event, if they want to bring in people and we can co-host with them, or if you want to. We also bring a lot of people in the target demographic of probably a lot of the companies that you guys are looking for, and we give it an opportunity for people to do their own demos or pitches. Because you know, one thing that I've you know come to learn is that some engineers aren't as adept on the business side of things, and so what we do is we give an opportunity for companies to come in and work on their elevator pitch. So when they get in front of VCs for the first time, they're not you know kind of very nervous, and so they've actually been able to practice. And so, again, this will be open for people, as well as we'll bring in demos, and we'll do lunch and learn similar to what we do in Oakland. We can fit about 120 people in here when it's at capacity. But again, we do probably an event or two per week, and we're going to continue that tradition here, and hopefully have a lot more, especially since we're in the Lions Den of Silicon Valley here. So, you come this way. So right now this space is being used as kind of where people are doing a RoboCar training and charging. But what we imagine this to be is another lab space, another prototyping lab space. And so this is actually going to be available for people if they're looking to build their own working lab here. Because that's one thing that we also kind of want to differentiate ourselves from, you know, places like WeWork. If you want to bring your own equipment here, we try to say yes. It's part of our DNA to say yes to all the crazy ideas, and so this will be a space where you know it's you know again with the high ceilings, we'll be able to do have benches and do a lot of the prototyping here as we see fit. And pardon the insulation, but yeah, so this space will be available for people if they would like to build their own lab. So we continue this way, and DOL RoboCars is going to be happening in the front here once we get going. So. So this is our open space where we have our dedicated desks. Now, one thing that we've learned at our Oakland location is that hardware is hard, and oftentimes you need companies need to be pretty flexible and agile because sometimes their needs will change dramatically, or sometimes their resources will change dramatically, and so we wanted to make it easy for people to upgrade and downgrade when their needs change or as they evolve. And so the way that we have our membership, we have different membership tiers, starting from a hot desk, which is just, you can come in, spread out, work on your prototype, and then pack up. We have dedicated desks here, which are 6 foot by 6 foot. Now, we have desks staged at them, but if you want to put a soldering station there, sure. If you want to put a lathe there, sure. We kind of keep it open, and as I said, saying yes is part of our DNA. But the difference between the dedicated desk and the entrepreneur membership is that this is like your private desk. You can keep stuff overnight, and so then we also have some private offices here. Now, they're almost finished. But each one of these, again, you can make it as, we have small, medium, and large offices. We also have extra large offices that I could show you at the end of the tour. Now, these offices aren't quite ready to be inhabited, but our extra large offices are ready today, if and when you would like to do it. And so, let's continue.
Cabinetry or tables? Yes.
So this area here is the hot desk. It's the entrepreneur membership tier. So here I'm using this for eating, but this is going to be our metal lab, our metal fabrication lab. Now, if you guys have been to Oakland, we're going to have very similar capabilities that we have in Oakland, but here we're going to have a little bit more. So we're going to have more metal room. We're eventually going to have a hot room. We can do some welding. I imagine we're going to have some injection vacuum molding. And so it's going to be kind of a Circuit Launch Plus. And our big idea is, Alex's vision is to make Circuit Launch the Trader Joe's of co-factoring. And so, because our DNA is, we can have all the fancy equipment, we can have all, different lathes and CNCs, but the value is the people and the community here. And so what we want to be able to do is use that and have people be able to collaborate and group think a lot together. So again, this is going to be the metal lab. We're going to have a large CNCs. We're going to have a whole slew of different machines. Over here, we're going to have an electronics lab. This is going to have like the laser cutters, 3D printers, workbenches with oscilloscopes, soldering stations. We're going to have like you could do some.
You're good.
10 years
So
ago,
again,
this is
solder
definitely not good
and
for the
a lot
laser
of,
cutter.
The brains of your prototypes.
Everyone will
this is
complain
where
if you
build
try and
kind
run
of
a laser
the
cutter here with these
motherboards and do
desks.
all their
Oh,
soldering.
been there, done that.
But
That's,
we'll also
that's why
have
we ended
plus
up in that back room
capabilities,
with the laser cutter.
with the kinds of 3D printers we have, ones that are more conducive for robotics, that have more like the filament has more tensile strength and for higher can handle higher temperatures. This area here, we're going to kind of have an assembly area, so you can build your boards here and then have kind of more of an assembly area here. Now tucked in the left corner here, we're going to have a wood shop. Now it's not going to be as large as the wood shop we have in Oakland, but we will have anything good for finishing some of the prototypes. Because oftentimes people want to make their prototype in wood, just so they can kind of see the 3D space and it's a little cheaper. But we're going to have mostly things to help, like probably have some chop saws, some sanding stations, routers, planers, drill presses, things like that.
How are they going to influence the people at the desks?
Pardon?
All those tools are quite noisy and
Yeah, well, we're going to be
fumes.
able to shut the door for the metal room.
The metal room, yeah. So
yeah.
we ended up putting the laser cutter in that back room over there because that's,
Yeah.
just to isolate the smell and everything from everyone.
Yeah, we have a venting system that we're working on the infrastructure for that.
Yeah, it's also the sound.
So, yeah.
Everyone would go nuts when we're running the fan and,
Yeah, I mean, we're still kind of figuring out a lot of the ins and outs of it, but that's kind of our initial plan. So why don't we continue this way?
there is. Yeah.
This is Spot, if you haven't met Spot yet. It's the Vitaly's robot. Good boy.
What do we do if he bites somebody?
Vitaly is trying to find ways to use, open source ways to use Spot. And it's also available to the community. I know one of our members who has, its prototype is called a GyroPalm, and it's like a gesture control watch. And what he did is he wrote a little raw script so that his watch could actually control Spot. And so he could be like, sit down boy, or go, or come here. And so it's just a fun way to kind of, different way to use Spot. And again, Vitaly is very open to hear your crazy ideas. We also have another company called ThoughtForge, and they have an AI platform for controlling robot arms. And they are actually thinking of attaching a robot arm to Spot and use it as part of their assembly line. So again, the possibilities are endless, and it's mostly what your mind can come up with. So now it's kind of tight to come in here, but to give you an idea, we have 5 or 6 offices that are extra large, and they are larger than the offices that you saw in the front lobby there. But again, if you guys have ideas, or if you want to check them out more specifically, I can bring you guys around a little bit later. But at this time, is there any questions?